Ladies and gentlemen, Nici Romo telling her story, My First Time.
They say you always remember your first time. At least that's what they tell me, right? Okay. When I was a little girl, I had a really big fantasy, imagination life. I was an only child. I grew up on a big farm, and it was either me to play with, my grandpa, or my pet goose. And I pet the goose a lot, but it bit me, but you know, anyway. That's a different story. Anyway, so I grew up really thinking about what I wanted in life and how I wanted it to go, and I had all these dreams and all these plans, and it was going to be really awesome. So when I was 16 years old, I fell in love with a boy, the most awkward, adorable boy in the North Hill, right? He had a North Hill High sweatshirt. He was a senior. He was by no means the coolest guy in school, but he was adorable to me. And I was smitten like a kitten. That was it. There was rainbows, and there was candy canes, and there was unicorns, and there was like little violins from little cupids playing. It was like that sickening. It was my fairy tale. It was fantastic. So we started to date for 4 months, and then he went to the Air Force, and as time does, we broke up. And we got back together, and he asked me to go to dinner when he came home. And I was like, heck no, I'm going to wait 3 days before I call you back. You were a jerk. But I went, and it was like nothing had ever stopped. It was the coolest thing. It was time had continued. The story continued. The movie continued. It was fantastic. It was like a dream. And then I got pregnant. And instead of it being the happiest day of my life and the happiest time of my life, my prince, who I used to call, and he used to call me his princess, started not to be so princely. He would get really angry, and his stress was his trigger. So instead of I love yous, he would call me a cunt, or a bitch, or a fucking bitch. And I began to feel like I didn't do anything right. So I left and went with my mom, because that's where you go with your mom, right? And because I was in love and I was stupid and I was still young, I believed his apology. So I said, okay, this is the second part of the movie, right? We're gonna be all right, we're gonna be good. It's gonna be fantastic. Fairy tales continued, right? So we bought a house in Firestone Park, and it was cute and quirky and full of character like me, and I loved it, and there was glitter on the ceiling, and I was like, this is so me. And it was perfect until I got pregnant again. And then this time it wasn't like the first time, because we added alcohol. So his one night of going out from work became 2, and then 3, and then all of the time. And pretty soon I would have to call him at the bar because we didn't have any food, and I was eating cans of beans because I had a 3-year-old to feed, and she got the food first before me, right? That's how it works. So one night, he'd come home drunk, passed out. We were all sleeping together. I was with my Josephine. He was on the floor with our new puppy. Which, okay, when you're super pregnant and you get a puppy, don't do that. In February. Such a bad plan. But he was adorable and cute, and it was thoughtful. So I get up, because I'm super pregnant and have to pee. And I go to the bathroom, and I come back, and the puppy is on the bed. And I thought, oh my God, aren't you so cute? You're on my bed. I love it. It was not cute, because he had peed the amount of pee of 10 puppies all over my blanket. And I started to cry. I mean, the crying of exhaustion and stress and just all this stuff. And so I took the puppy and I said, son of a bitch. And I took him and just put him on the floor very gently. My prince stood up from his drunken stupor and pushed me against the wall. You always remember your first. The amount of force that he pushed me with was unbelievable. Now, mind you, I'm pretty pregnant. I'm about 5, 6 months. He hit me so hard that I can still now, years later, feel how my bone hit the wood, and how the wall shook, and how my body shook, and how my, what's this called? Like your bone area? Thank you. I'm an actor. I don't do bones. It just hurt with so much pain from his force. And he says to me, "Don't you ever fucking touch my dog like that again, you fucking bitch." And he went back to bed. And I stood there. And I thought, holy shit. I was paralyzed with fear. There was nothing I could say. There was nothing I could do. All I could do was stand there and stare at Josephine and think, oh my God, my beautiful, amazing fairy tale was now going to be this. And so I took a deep breath and I walked out of my room, down the steps, going each step by each step. And I can still remember the steps. It's so funny. And I went downstairs and I sat on our couch because I didn't know what else to do. You just kind of sit, you know. So I sat there and I looked around and I saw the glitter on the ceiling and all the toys, and I turned to a basket of laundry and I thought, oh, that needs folded, so I'll fold it. And I did. And then I would get up and I would clean and I would do other stuff. And it was that moment I realized that I'm a cleaner when I get upset. I have to be doing that. But I did that for hours when I just would sit and cry and think. And in the morning, he came downstairs and saw how red my eyes were and saw my bruises on my shoulders and apologized, what I thought was at the time the most heartfelt apology I'd ever heard. And I believed him. And I believed him every time he apologized. Because love makes you stay. Or so I thought. But after 12 years and another child, I couldn't take the cycle anymore. So I got my strength and I left. And even though I truly believe in the power of love, and I know that love is precious and love is something to be cherished, fairy tales really are in the movies.